Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. What's up, guys? My name is T Captain X or Tyler. So I have a video today comparing the SPR and the HDR. So most people know that the SPR got nerfed. When it first came out, it had hit scan bullets. It was super broken, although it was fun to use. So it is fixed now, and it actually behaves like it should. A lot of people are saying they nerfed it too hard, but we're gonna dive into kind of the nitty gritty and see what's the best sniper right now in Warzone. Okay, so let's take a look. All right, guys, so let's start with talking about the damage with the SPR compared to the HDR. The SPR can be a two-shot chest shot up to about 100 meters, compared to the HDR is always going to be a three-shot chest shot no matter the distance. Now, after 100 meters, the SPR is going to fall off to being a three-shot chest shot to kill, just like an HDR or an AX50 typically would be. Now, of course, both guns are one-shot headshots, like basically pretty much all the snipers in the game are. But everyone is not always, the best sniper. You're not always going to hit your headshots. So the awesome thing about the SPR is that you can crack somebody's armor just off one chest shot. A lot of times, if your armor gets cracked, you kind of panic. You're freaking out, and you just don't really play that smart. So that having that advantage to do that to somebody, that's huge. So next, let's talk bullet velocity, and this is very important when it comes to sniping. So bullet velocity is how far you have to lead a bullet when somebody is running left to right, okay? So the HDR has previously kind of reigned king as the highest bullet velocity in the game. If you set up your SPR to have max stats for max bullet velocity, it actually has just a slightly higher bullet velocity compared to the HDR. So that means when you have someone running left to right or right to left, that's how much you have to lead that actual shot. So the other important stat after bullet velocity is bullet drop. And this is where the gun gets really interesting. I do want to kind of preface with all the data I'm getting is from True Game Data. The site, if you go to truegamedata.com, it's a phenomenal site. They have really good detailed information about stats in the game. But the SPR has a lot more bullet drop than the HDR. The HDR is the best sniper in the game when it comes to the least amount of bullet drop. What bullet drop is how high you have to aim up to hit your shot, okay? So with that, even though the SPR has better bullet velocity, and it's essentially the same, it's a very, very small difference. And you're going to be leading left to right the same as the HDR. You do have to aim much higher with the HDR compared to the HDR. So one of the really interesting stats about this gun is the ammo. So before the nerf, when the SPR first came out, remember the Norma and the Lapua mags were both hit scan. Obviously, that's been fixed. So currently, the Lapua gives you the longest range, and it says more damage. Really, it's just giving you more range than actual damage. It's not really making a difference in how much each bullet does, at least as from what I can tell. But if you're using the Lapua mags, it is a two-shot chest shot up to about 100 meters, whereas if you're using the Norma mags, it is a two-shot chest shot only to about 75 meters. However, this is where it gets really interesting, is the Norma mag, even though it has less damage range, it actually has less bullet drop compared to the Lapua. The Lapua has the most bullet drop for the different weapons or ammo that you can use for it. But that range is better. So for me, I'm going to use the Lapua, and I'm going to get used to aiming up higher because that extra 25 meters where it can be a two-shot chest shot, I think is pretty important. So now let's compare ADS between the SPR and the HDR. The SPR actually edges out the HDR by about half a tenth of a second. And it's pretty small, and I'm going to do a side-by-side here so you can see. The reload of the SPR is also slightly faster compared to the HDR. It's not a huge difference, but this is another one-up for the SPR. So as you guys are probably seeing, there's a lot of advantages for the SPR over the HDR. But This is probably going to be the biggest HDR advantage over the SPR, and that's going to be the zoom. So right now I have a variable zoom scope on both the SPR and the HDR, okay? So this is the zoomed in version of the SPR. Okay, I'm gonna look at this little site here. Now if we compare that to the HDR, it's a lot more. So there compared to that. And I'll do a side by side so you guys can see it better. So because the HDR has a significantly higher zoom level than the SPR, the HDR is going to be your much better sniper when it comes to those very long range shots, okay? So a lot of this might depend on your playstyle. If you're someone that you like to just post up on one spot and chill there, maybe you're just posting up in downtown and trying to hit some crazy shots, you're probably better off using the HDR, especially since there's less bullet drop with the HDR compared to the SPR. So those very long range shots, you're not gonna have to compensate and aim up for as much. However, if you're someone that you're moving around a lot, the SPR with the not as strong zoom might be even better. Just kind of depends, and a lot of it is just personal preference on how much of that zoom level is. But obviously, those farther away you get, the harder the shot will be with the SPR compared to the HDR. One other small stat that the SPR also has an advantage over the HDR is movement speed. It's pretty small, but you do move a little bit quicker with the SPR compared to the HDR. So with all this in mind, going forward, I think the SPR is going to be my choice. I think it's worth giving up that extra zoom. And I think over time, I'm going to be able to get used to that bullet drop more. I have a lot of time in with the HDR. I'm very familiar with, where to aim, especially at these longer shots. I'm still, newer with the SPR. It's only been nerfed for about a week now. But I'm sure as I put in the time, I'm gonna, you're gonna get used to where to aim, and how much to aim up, how much to lead. I think the leading shots between the two are going to be very similar. The bullet velocity is very comparable, but the bullet drop is going to be the big one to get used to. I think that larger damage that the SPR can provide at closer ranges within 75 meters is a huge advantage. Being able to crack someone's armor with one shot, and being able to get a 2-shot chest kill is a huge advantage over the HDR being 3. When you have someone running around and they're farther away, it's very difficult to hit that headshot. And so hitting that chest shot can be huge with the SPR. All right, guys, so this is going to be your SPR loadout. For the muzzle, we're of course going to use the monolithic suppressor. The barrel, we're going to use the longest barrel, which is the SPR 26-inch. We're going to use the Lapua mags. Now you can use the Norma mags here also. So the Lapua mags are going to extend that 2-shot chest shot range to about 100 meters, compared to the Norma mags will only be to about 75. They both have the same bullet velocity. However, remember the Norma does have a little bit less bullet drop compared to the Lapua. Me personally, I want that extra range, so I'm going to try and get used to that little extra bullet drop with the Lapua mags. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are. I'm kind of very curious. Who knows? Maybe my mind will change over time as I use it, but I'm pretty excited about this SPR. I've had a lot of fun with it using it so far. So in the comments below, let me know, what do you guys think the best sniper is? And you can say the car too. The car, a little sub note, the car is by far has the best ADS time. However, it has a slower bullet velocity and much less damage compared to both of these. So let me know what you guys think. I appreciate you guys watching the video. I do stream on Twitch, usually Tuesday through Saturday, late at night. T Captain X, I'll have the link in the description. If this video helped me, come pop in the stream, come say what's up. Just once again, appreciate it, guys. Have a great one.